Just a quick announcement again, it's the same thing as last episode, but with less information. This is just an episode that we recorded way back then when we were only releasing this in Spotify. We just wanted to get them all in YouTube as well. So yeah, that's it. Let's go to the episode.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast, The Weekly Harvest. This week, Eden is actually going to be out because, he has a life unlike the other or all three of us. So, thankfully he works. But this week, instead of Eden, we're bringing on a, laughably valued member of Card Garden, ArcoVert, who is a master of One Piece and, tickling the nether regions for us. But I am Hikata. We have Psycho over there, and ArcoVert.
Yep,
that's our favorite Italian around here.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, he's known in Card Garden as the as Psycho said earlier, the Italian stallion.
Yes.
Ow. Okay. You gotta stop forcing me around, man.
All right. So this week, one of the biggest things that I know that has been going around in Card Garden is the new One Piece set. I actually forgot when it releases. Arco, what's the date of release for that again?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, yesterday. So at the time that this actually ends up posting up, it'll probably have been a week from now then. But so in this currently it released yesterday as we're recording. What would so as I kind of said, I know nothing about One Piece. So what's like the general gameplay of One Piece? I know earlier you kind of mentioned to me it plays pretty similar to the Digimon TCG.
So One Piece. Oh, I'm sorry. It actually released March 10th. I'm actually going crazy. So One Piece plays, I guess, somewhat similar to Digimon in at least card overview, like cost and the effects and all that. The main kicker, what makes One Piece actually a very fluid and actually extremely enjoyable game, is specifically how dawns work. Dawns are your mana, and they are basically not just mana, but also your way to buff your cards.
Okay, so it's like a double resource then.
Correct. So every turn, besides the first turn where player one only gets one dawn, you always get two dawns from your dawn deck, and all dawns are the same. They're just your mana, or you can put them under your characters or your leader to give them an additional 1,000 power.
Okay, so do you actually end up getting those back like every turn, or is it just like a once an entire game type of deal?
Nope, you keep those. There's specific cards at this point, mostly in purple, that can put dawns back to your dawn deck to basically subtract your mana, but those dawns at the beginning of your turn return to your dawn area, which basically is your mana zone. And from there, you're able to just readjust them, play new cards, or put them under your current cards to do more attacks and more damage.
Okay. So the dawn is kind of equivalent to the Digimon memory system then?
Yes. It's your lands and magic. It is your non-existent mana zone in Yugi. It is your way to sort of gauge what your turn can do and how much you can do. So, like for example, the deck that I play a leader called Eustace Captain Kidd, whose ability is I can pay 3 Dawn, and his ability lets him trash a card from my hand to let him attack again. So he is a double attacker, which as of right now is still one of the most insane leaders in the game.
Okay, so actually even going on to that then, you're mentioning that this has leaders. A lot of card games don't really have, I guess, a leader, and the first thing that popped in my head similar to that would be like a commander type of deck for Magic. So what kind of is a leader card then, and like can you use any sort of thing similar to like commander, or is it like specific cards, and how prominent are they kind of in the One Piece card game?
So leaders are generally your central figures in One Piece. As of right now, it's more or less the main characters and mostly the main villains. Your leader dictates two things: how much life you start with at the beginning of the game, and your colors of what your deck can play. So, for example, Eustace Captain Kidd has 5 life, and he is a green card specifically. So I'm only allowed to play green cards in my deck building.
Okay, so you can't mix colors at all, at least currently within one piece. Like you are basically playing a monocolor deck.
So to continue that, like I said, Kid is 5 life and he's green. Luffy would also be a red leader and he would have 5 life. However, it is also a different version of Luffy, which he has 4 life and is red green that allows you to mix 2 different colors. As of right now, there are only dual color cards, but with the addition of what's it called? Set 2, we just got the addition of black and I believe a black red leader. So there'll be soon more color combinations. I believe in somewhere in set 4 they just announced a blue black leader, which I believe to be insane, but we'll see how that goes with new cards that come out.
Okay, that's kind of it. Yeah. All right. So along with the leaders, then, like, are there any sort of like spells or magic-esque or something that is not necessarily a character but can do something other
That
than
would be
leaders and
more
characters?
like the event cards.
Okay, so that'd be kind of similar to like a spell. Then.
Correct. Events are basically just your spell cards. The way One Piece works is, beside when it's not your turn, the only interaction you would generally get is from your life zone. If you hit a trigger card that allows you to play that card when it's hit, sort of like a life burst in Cross, or event cards in your hand, or counters. Each character card or event cards have counter, which basically lets you add to your attack power so you can block off attacks, so you don't sort of take damage because no one wants to die. Generally, the event cards will generally have a small amount of cost compared to characters, where some characters can cost as low as 1 to 10. Most events, I believe, at this point are between a cost of 1 to 4 as of right now.
Okay, so they're fairly cheap then.
But you would still need to pay the required Dawn on your opponent's turn. So you would have a less of a powerful turn last turn, but you would have a larger defense. And some events, like I play one called, I believe, Paradise Falls, which is a 1-cost card. I'm sorry. Where is it? It is a 1-cost event that not only gives 2,000 power to my leader, so it can stay, or character to stave off attacks, it also gives one of my characters, which is basically refreshing it. So if one of my larger blockers is already tapped down from blocking a previous attack, I have a third now, basically second blocker to work with.
Okay. So yeah, that definitely seems like more of a kind of like an instant or a counter spell that you can use on your opponent's turn then. Okay, and then of course I'm going with that. You can use your standard event cards during your own turn to add effects and have certain things change. I know Arco was kind of going over some other cards, so we went over kind of like leaders, stages, characters. I'm assuming are pretty similar to your standard character monster creature card. Even just kind of looking at some of these cards, most of them have like on play effects, enter effect, or when this character enters type. I think these are pretty simple to at least kind of get a rough idea of what to do. I don't know how you're kind of thinking about it, Psycho.
I've just been reading some effects while you guys have been talking. It's like now I'm looking at the Nami from the new set.
Okay. What does she do then?
It says on play / when attacking. I guess the circle with the one is a Don. You may rest a specific. You may rest a specific number of Don cards in your cost area. Look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to one field type of card other than that. Add it to your hand. Place
okay. So I think film is actually like a specified set. I'm assuming, like it might actually. So actually, under Nami, it's under her name. It actually says film / Straw Hat. So this card specifically might be from like the One Piece film. So they might have something similar to a card game I know that does something kind of similar like that is the Final Fantasy TCG, where each character is actually kind of separated into their specific games and like what kind of jobs these characters have. And other cards will combo with them, saying like a very common class within Final Fantasy is like Dragoon, where one other card will be like, hey, card job type Dragoon gets like plus 1,000 power, or card card category, like, you know, Final Fantasy 7, right? Category 7 gets, you know, plus 2,000 power on your opponent's turn or when it guards. But it only will only affect types of cards. So I'm assuming this is kind of similar to that, where the film type card is cards from the One Piece film.
Yeah, it's probably just the archetype then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's specifically different archetypes that only work with themselves, and specific leaders that only have effects with their own archetype.
Okay.
So to go back, like, yeah, Luffy would be part of the Straw Hat crew. So basically, all the cards that work with him would also be part of the Straw Hat.
Okay.
Film, as of right now, has its own deck, being the 5th starter deck, which is a predominantly purple color. And then we have, I believe, a few different film colors, I believe, in red and purple, and now green with set 2.
Okay. So, how do you win a match?
So, like I was saying earlier, each leader has around a set amount of life, generally between 4 or 5. Whenever you attack with any of your characters or leader, you would either attack their characters if they're, tapped down, or you would attack the leader. And if the leader ever takes damage, they would take one of their lives that are face down at the beginning of the game and reveal it. If it is a trigger, that trigger would be activated at that point if you'd like to. If not, it goes to your hand. And once you are out of life, if you get hit one more time, that is the end of the game.
Okay, so just like we cross on.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that you also, if you deck out, you will lose. However, One Piece decks are currently 50 cards, and it's a little harder to reach. However, with, I believe, set 3, we will have a specific leader that's ability is if you would deck out, you instead win the game.
Okay.
And her entire play style runs around milling herself out.
I do have to say, I do not miss losing to deck out in We Cross.
Yeah. So one thing you keep mentioning though is triggers. So are these triggers similar to say something like a Bushiroad game such as like Card Fight Van or Vice Short?
Somewhat. There's no set amount of triggers you can play in each deck. Each trigger is basically just based on whatever card it is. So most triggers are believe be generally on events, but there's a few triggers that are also on characters. And they basically either do some sort of effect, usually resting a character or destroying a character with a certain amount of power or less, or the card will be played itself.
Okay, so it's more. I guess I probably should have assumed this because it is a Bandai game. It's more akin to the Digimon trigger then.
Yep, basically like that.
Okay. Yeah, because even looking at a couple of events, it does say trigger activate this card's main effect, which I'm assuming is what generally most of. And yeah, that would definitely be similar to. So actually, another question I have then, kind of going into that. So with Digimon, you set up like what's called the security stack. Essentially, and similar to WeCross as well, where you lay out a set of cards prior to the game even starting as your life. Is that similar, or is that what they do in One Piece?
So yeah, when you start the game, you would get your first hand, do your mulligans if you need. After that, you would flip both leaders, and then you would play that many life cards face down in your life area.
Okay.
As of right now, like I said, it's generally currently just 4 or 5, but there is a leader soon who will have 6 health, which is going to be a lot more crazy.
Is this one coming up in the next set?
I believe he is. I am just very forgetful. Let me look up that.
Well, I don't think the One Piece card game, the official website, actually has set 3 listed for anything from the next set. So I'm currently kind of limited to looking at set 2 and the starter deck. But yeah, if it's in set 3, then all right. So it looks like that might be a little bit of a shift then. And I'm kind of curious.
I'm going crazy. He's actually going to be probably one of the most predominant red leaders as of right now, which will be Edward Newgate, also known as Whitebeard.
Yes, he does have 6 life. Yep.
That dude is insane because specifically, he is the first leader besides having 6 life to also have 6,000 base power instead of 5,000. which makes him much harder to hit because you need bigger numbers to get there.
I was just gonna say, it looks like he's very aggro. Using Edward Newgate specifically, at the end of your turn, add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. So it looks like he's just punching himself in the face.
He is, but all the cards that revolve around him will be cards that basically say when you have 1 or less life, you can get multiple effects off. His entire playstyle is going to make him an extremely aggressive deck.
Okay. But
Like,
yeah, sorry, before I cut in, what were you saying?
Obviously going to bring up his effect.
Oh.
So one of his other predominant cards you would generally play is a character named Marco, who is a 4-cost, 5,000 power character, who is one of your only few blockers in red, which is generally very rare. And on KO, you can trash 1 card with Whitebeard Pirates in your hand. If you have 2 or less life cards, you can play him from the trash rested, so he can replay himself every so often.
Okay.
Okay.
A never-ending blocker, which is the death of everyone.
So he can just basically end up being just a hardcore wall at the end of a game to kind of stave off your opponent so that you can get aggressive.
Correct.
Okay.
If I'm correct, though, I believe one of the most predominant cards in One Piece set 2 would be the Moby Dick card, which I believe just got hit in Japan because of just how horrifying that card is.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's oddly enough, I was just looking at that. So it looks like it's Moby Dick, 2-cost red. It is for the Whitebeard Pirates, and it says your turn. If you have 1 or less life cards, your Edward Newgate and all your characters with a type including Whitebeard Pirates gains plus 2,000 power. And that's actually another question. So this is a stage. Is that like akin to kind of like a Magic's like a field, or even like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Pokemon's like stadium type of cards where it's like it's a constant effect throughout the entire game?
Mm-hmm. So each player can only have up to 1 stage card, and generally, as of right now, I believe there's only between 4 or 5 of them that are out. With Moby Dick, he is predominantly the only red stage that is quite literally insane. A 2,000 power boost that is across the entire board, along with the fact that it's basically cost is nothing, makes it a very insane card.
Yeah,
2,000
like
power can quite literally rip another card out of your opponent's hand per block. To go off that, as you saw in some of the cards on the left side of some characters, and there would be a counter, usually between 1 to 2,000. With that counter, let's say your leader attacks my leader, and they are both at 5,000. You can use any amount of counter in your hand. You would only use 1 at this point, being a 1,000 counter, to basically block the attack, and then the card will go to your trash after. Sort of like guarding in Vanguard.
Okay. Yikes.
So, if you could fill up the board, which red is very, very good at doing, a Anthem ability like this would basically just completely wipe the game.
Okay.
That's why some decks, like, generally would be purple, blue, and green, well, mostly blue and purple, who would have a focus on trying to whittle down your opponent's board, so these kinds of attacks won't really happen, but in Japan, they have not been successful. Hence Moby Dick being completely banned at this point now.
Okay. And Moby Dick, though, or at least that card specifically, has not been released or just got released in the US, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we might be looking at a pretty quick ban for that card.
We'll see, just because in the One Piece metas between Japan and America have been generally very different. As over there, purple in set 1 was generally the main deck, and over here, green has been the major. Green and red have been more of a major player, but it's going to be a little different to see how we'll here in the States we'll be dealing with, or I'm sorry, here on the West we'll be dealing with these kinds of cards.
Okay. So I'm still looking through the cards on TCG Player, and I see Portgus the Ace, the parallel alternate art, for about 1,000 right now. It's like
Whoa!
the background image. Now, is that like one per case or one every so cases?
That is one every so cases.
Jeez.
Yeah. There is a parallel card like that per each set, and I believe the Shanks one from set one was around, I think, 1,100 also on release. I think it's down to 900 if I'm correct.
Okay.
Jeez.
If that is a little too rich for your blood, you can buy yours normally at right now. As of currently, it is $7. Hopefully, it goes down more.
Yeah.
Hey, at least that means it's still good for people who just want to play rather than collect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that card is he is a very beloved character. Hope nothing bad happens.
Woo! That's some prices.
For the waifu side of it, though, you can get your secret rare Uta from the film for only like $36 as of currently.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Much cheaper.
Yeah. Thinking about picking up a card for the collection.
But yeah, I would generally recommend the game to anyone, fans or not fans of the anime, because the game is just probably one of the most, as of to me right now, one of the more well-built games I've seen in quite some time.
Okay.
So
So
everything feels a little powerful, but everything is generally on the fair side.
okay.
Okay.
So as someone who's still learning this from you, and maybe I would want to give a shot, or somebody that's listening is actually interested in it, what be the easiest deck to learn out of all the starters and colors?
The easiest decks, I would say, would definitely be red, because it is Unga Bunga, smash your opponents in the face and hope they go away.
Yeah.
The second easiest deck after that would be my deck, being the green deck.
Okay.
Eustace Captain Kid is a very simple playstyle. Play King of the Castle, protect your leader for the first few turns, and once you're at max done, you can start swinging for 12,000 per turn, and your opponent can't really keep up with that.
Okay.
And because of Captain Kid's effect, where he's able to attack twice, that is 12,000 times 2. And your opponent's leader being only at 7,000 is gonna not. I'm sorry, 5,000 is not going to be very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they're like hoarding a bunch of if I'm if I'm kind of playing this out correctly in my head, unless they're basically hoarding a bunch of like cards with counter, right?
Correct.
Okay. And even then, yeah, as you said, they can attack twice. Doubt they're going to be able to block that twice.
Yeah, the point of, at this point, Captain Kidd is one of two play styles. Against purple, he would generally try to not play as many cards as possible, because purple's main ability is to destroy my field. You have to focus on just attacking with your leader and running them down before they're able to sort of set up their bigger creatures. Because purple at this point, as of right now, is mostly play big 7, 8, 9 cost cards. And against any other deck, I would just play extremely defensively, to the point where they're out of resources, and then Captain Kidd and my larger creatures can just swing in and start breaking teeth.
Okay.
All right. So actually, speaking of then, I know I'm assuming Kid is like definitely one of your favorites. But with this new set, Paramount War, what would you say would be like some of the more prominent cards, or something specific characters or leaders that people would want to look out for, or at least in your general opinion?
So, as of right now, the main cards, well, the main thing is we're getting a fifth color, being black. That's going to pretty much open up a lot of things. Black overseas was a little more reserved, due to the fact that red and green were basically running around everywhere. But because of how we are over here, we're going to probably test the hell out of it, and hopefully it turns out much more predominant than it was over there. The main cards and main ability of black is to lower the cost of your opponent's cards, to the point where they cost little to none. And then there's cards like, for example, the main character of the deck, Kuzan, whose ability is, on your turn, your opponent's characters have -5 cost, and on play, he KOs any character with a cost of 0. Basically, just getting a free kill on play.
Oh wow. Okay.
Another major card for black would be Borsalino. which is one of the other main Navy people. Black is pretty much at this point just Navy cards at this point. Borsellino is one of your best blockers, being unable to be KO'd by effects, and your opponent's turn, he becomes a 6,000 instead of 5,000 power card. And he is also a blocker. He is one of their only ways to deal with red and purple at this point.
Okay, so black has actually got a pretty prominent, for at least in the West.
I'm hoping it does.
Okay.
And for offensive cards in black, you have the 2-cost character Monkey D. Garp, who is able to, when attacking, by putting 2 Dons under him, he'll go to a 5,000 power card, and then he'll KO a character with cost of 0, working off Kuzan.
Okay, yeah. By making their cost 0, and then he straight up KO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So essentially, yeah, like using him, negativing something into a cost of 0. You attack with Monkey D. Garp by using, or after putting 2 Dawn under him. So when he attacks, you're actually threatening your opponent with an attack and then KOing something that costs 0. So
Correct.
Effectively kind of almost getting rid of 2 of your opponent's character.
For me, being a Eustace Kid player, as of right now, there's only between 2 to 3 cards that I personally need for my deck to update, which is actually going to be one of the more reasons the deck actually gets a lot better. All 3 of these cards are Land of Wano cards, and there are 2 cards in the green specifically that search out 2 separate types of cards. Supernovas, which are the main big badass pirates of later in the series, and Land of Wano, which is also later in the series, but an entire archetype that we did not have enough cards to work with in set 1. With this, we're getting 2 main cards being Kozuki Odin, which is an 8 cost, 8,000 power card that for 3 Dawn can active himself, just like Kid. So he is going to be a big swinger late game. And on KO, if he ever gets KO'd somehow, I play any green Land of Wano card that costs 3 or less from my deck.
Okay. Just straight up pull it out of your deck?
Just straight up pull it out of your deck.
Oh, wow, okay.
The second thing that we're getting is going to be the 4-cost Yamato, who is going to be counted as Kozuki Odin in the rules. I'll explain the 3rd card after for that. And on play, rest any character with a cost of 6 or less on my opponent's field, getting rid of essentially one of their larger blockers, or for some specific situations, rest down one of their attackers for next turn, and then kill it before it can swing at me.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
She is going to be a very helpful card, because I do not like blockers. Me like punching. The last card, and the one that I'm still on the fence of, but probably going to be a major player, is Kozuki Toki, who is a 1-cost, 0 power blocker, but only if I have a Kozuki Odin on my field. Because Yamato, her effect allows her to basically be counted as Kozuki Odin, I will then have at this point between 7-8 copies of Kozuki Odin in my deck, basically turning her into a full blocker whenever I need it.
Oh, okay. And just straight up negating an attack then.
But yeah, this is going to be a large set. The meta has been very, very green and red oriented. Blue not really having much to work with in set 1. However, we are also getting a very, very fun leader for blue. That being Emporio Ivankov, who is sort of to me against what blue is supposed to be known for, which is drawing cards. His effect is at the end of my turn, if I have 0 cards in hand, I draw 2. So it's a much more balls to the wall throttle, like just full throttle blue deck that just wants to dump cards on the field and just keep drawing them.
But I was going to say, because usually from a lot of, at least traditionally, a lot of blue water, similar to that, is just about drawing cards left and right, but still having multiple cards in your hand at the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Ivankov, yeah, it sounds like just start tossing everything out. Just go unga bunga blue.
It's going to be goody good. To continue with that, Ivankov's, I guess, just 2 examples of some of the cards Ivankov has access to. Mr. 3, parentheses Galdino, is a 4-cost, 5,000 power blocker. However, at the end of my turn, I can trash 1 card from my hand to set him as active. So he'll be a nice 5,000 swinger at your opponent, and then trash a card. active him, and then from there you can activate Ivankov's effect to draw 2. Basically, just netting yourself 2 cards.
Ah, okay. So it's almost going to kind of run into more of a cards that activate by discard.
Mm-hmm. The last thing, more of the good characters. We're gonna have Monkey D. Luffy as a blue card, who is an Impel Down / Straw Hat Crew. He can trash 2 cards from your hand on play or when attacking to return a character your opponent controls but cost 4 or less back to their hand, and then he gains double attack. Double attack being that he can basically deal 2 damage with 1 attack. Essentially a double breaker.
Okay, so kind of equivalent to Wheatcross's version of Double Cross.
Correct.
Okay.
The last kind of keyword that sort of matters at this point would be Banish, which is, as you know at this point, when you take a life damage, it would go right to your hand. With Banish, the card goes straight to the trash.
Oh, so your opponent doesn't even get the resources for that.
Correct.
Okay.
One Piece is a very resource-intensive game where you have to sort of gauge how many cards you want to keep in your hand for your opponent's next turn, and when do you want to start slamming down cards. Because most of the cards you're going to play are going to have counter, and you don't want to burn up all of your good stuff before your opponent starts breaking your head. You might waste a card you need for next turn by blocking with it, or you might just... It's a very thought-out game at this point, and I'm very much for it.
Psycho, do you have anything else to add to that, or any other questions?
Not really. I'm kind of interested in giving One Piece a try now.
Okay.
You know,
well, of course,
from other TCGs, you know, but
a lot of different TCGs to go on.
Yeah, this year is actually very seems to be very busy with TCGs. But yeah, so for everybody listening, we do plan on selling One Piece on Card Garden's website. As far as I know, Eden has actually sold or already have the pre-orders up for the next set, and they are just selling like crazy right now.
Yep.
I'm actually not sure if there's any stock left.
Yeah, I do know he has been able to resource some of the older sets, but not many though. So,
I mean, he still has the banner up for it. Right on the main website for the new set. Let's see. Let's double check the sealed product. So it looks like he has pre-orders up for a lot of the starter decks. I think those older sets actually sold out already.
Oof.
For One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, One Piece has had a little bit of a issue with stock to the point where
it seems like
the starter decks were, I think, at some point between $40 to $50 each.
Oh yeah, I've seen quite a few of the beginning starter decks all for 100 plus.
It's a bad stock issue, but
yeah,
hopefully they sort of get this more alleviated so game's a lot more commonplace, because this is a genuinely really fun game to try.
Yeah, it does sound really fun.
Definitely does seem very interesting. And again, anybody listening, there is pre-orders up for some of the inventory for the next set. Looks like some starter decks coming out and a gift box.
You know, you can always go on the Discord at Eden. You know, he's more than willing to work with you, try to get some product in the best he can. So
Eden's really good about getting product. And if you try and get a hold of him, he can usually get you some.
Yeah.
So definitely One Piece has definitely been popping off. I'm pretty sure anybody in Garden has also actually seen how busy a lot of the weekly tourneys are for it too.
Yeah.
But all right, so I mean, moving on from One Piece though, as much as we probably would still like to talk about it, probably still Arco as well. There is a little bit of news that I know we've kind of come across in the TCG world in general. I know Eden's kind of a fan. A couple of people that I actually know personally are looking forward to Rise TCG. I've kind of kept my eye on it mostly because, you know, I know a couple of people who are into it as well, and Eden is into it. But it looks like Rise TCG is actually manufacturing some of their product at least. I went to their website and they had a video showing that they're actually printing off these cards. I'm kind of interested in seeing what's going on with that. Also looks like Takara Tomy is already teasing the next Wecross set, Spread Diva. I don't know if you guys have seen any of those yet, but it looks like they've been.
I am ready for set 8.
Yeah, and there's been some leaked emails showing that there might be a ceremony soon, and some.
Yo, I did not hear about that.
Let's go, baby!
Yeah, if you can find the email, it's been leaked. You'll see in like one sentence it says ceremony soon to be announced and in real life events to be announced.
Yo!
I'm so excited.
Yes. So that just adds to the hype train for Spread Diva. And
so
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge Eldora simp, so I am so looking forward to this next set.
Yeah, I still got to look in it, see what I'm gonna buy.
Next set has Op Memoria, and I definitely need that SRP variant of her.
Oh, I need it too
for the collection.
I need it too because Arco's going to pay me double the price for it.
I'll take it for $10.
So I can't wait to see what serials are announced for it.
Right, same. And it looks like they have the release date for it being May 5th. So we'll probably keep updated on that as more information is kind of coming for it. But yes, psyched. But I know another card game a lot of people are excited for. I know one person off the top of my head that is really excited for Lorcana. Shout out to Chobi there. They actually have released a little bit of news on that, in which, from what I'm reading, they gave a little bit of a backstory or actual some like lore to this card game, to Lorcana. I mean, I guess they should with the name being Lorcana, but also a tentative release date for the first set. Being November 17th for trading card shops in general. Yeah. But they also said that I think a couple weeks later, what was the September 1st, they'll actually be putting Lorcana into mass retail stores. So we could see Lorcana actually show up in big box stores such as like Walmart and Target and stuff.
Yeah.
That game is going to be from what I've seen, the cards remind me of Duel Masters for some reason, just in how I read the effects and everything. It looks very fun. It looks insane.
It looks really, honestly, I'm looking at Tinkerbell, which seems to be from the Dreamborn version of her. So it looks like she's kind of armed with like a needle and a button for a shield, kind of like a soldier, like a warrior. It looks, honestly, just taking a quick look and having, prior TCG knowledge, I think I got like 90% of this card. Like it looks like she has 2 attack, 4 defense, 3 cost for whatever resources you have. And then you can do an action of downing her or tapping her, however they want to say it in Lorcana. But draw a card, then choose a card to discard. And even like a little bit of flavor text. So I do expect Lorcana to pop off. Like really big once it releases. So I don't know if it might have like the One Piece effect where it might just be low on stock everywhere at first, but
I really hope not. Because as of right now, if you go on eBay, you can find a 2022 Disney Lorcana #1 Mickey Mouse graded 10 for $25,000.
Whoa!
Mickey Mouse.
I mean, hopefully that'll fall, but.
And I do have to give thanks to Symphony. She has sent images for the pack images. They're going to retail for about $6 US, about €5. Starter decks for US is going to be about 17. For Europe, it's going to be about 18 euros. There's a gift set. Looks like it's got 2 giant cards, some packs and stuff. $30 US, 28 euros. The first chapter, Illumineers Trove, is going to be about 50 US and about 50 euros. There's going to be a full art storage box for the $50 one. Some full art deck boxes, damage counters, 8 booster packs, 50-page full color player guide on it. And there's also plenty of accessories will be hitting the stores alongside the set 1 lineup.
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't know if this was confirmed, but I think there was even a confirmation that, set 2 was already confirmed for Lorcana. So seems like they're really thinking this is already going to take off. They've already announced a set 2.
Oh yeah, and
It's going to be a crazy year for card games, man. We're all going to be
oh
broke.
yeah, definitely.
and,
As if we aren't already.
and the last thing she shared was the booster display. Each booster display is going to cost the average $143.
Whoa, that's
And that's
that's
going to be
higher than I was expecting.
releasing August 18th.
Yep, at hobby stores. Yep.
Thank you, Symphony, for finding that info for us. Really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely some good info there.
I am just super excited to have Stitch cards from Lilo and Stitch. I love that little monster.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not interested in Disney, but
I see you. You're gonna have to be destroyed now.
yeah,
No one disrespects Disney here.
yeah, this is such a weird year for trading card games. There's so much is coming out this year. I'm already giving up money for Battlesphere Saga. I'm always going to give up money for Wii Cross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel bad for everybody's wallets this year.
Phew. It's still the beginning of the year, and I'm already feeling that.
Wow, we're actually only nearly 3 months in, and
Yep.
we're gonna die with cards today. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
we're all gonna die happy.
yeah. So
I'm gonna die with a signed Stitch.
I'm not gonna lie. Actually, even looking at some of the art, I'm actually really digging the art for here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Ever since I was like a young kid, I was a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. Hopefully, they make a deck on that, because I would simp pretty hard for that.
I'm still just dying to the $25,000 Mickey Mouse on eBay.
I don't think that'll last, but
I don't think so either.
it'd be funny to see some Kingdom Hearts incorporated at some point.
Oh my, yeah.
that would be interesting. I do think, or I don't think that would really happen though, because that's definitely more of a Square Enix IP. But
Yeah.
who knows? Because Square Enix, on other TCG news, Square has actually worked or is planning on actually making a crossover or an IP crossover into Magic the Gathering, and there's going to be Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards.
Okay.
So
I mean,
who knows? Yeah, I wouldn't be like, honestly, with them going like, yeah, go ahead, Wizards of the Coast, use Final Fantasy in your cards. I'd be actually less surprised for Disney to do that than Wizards of the Coast. But if there was like a Kingdom Hearts one,
Kingdom Hearts is already in Lorcana. You got Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck.
Oh yeah. Made my boy Goofy.
yeah, it looks like that starter deck's already halfway there too, because it has Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Actually, that second starter deck is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Aladdin, which there's a whole world in Kingdom Hearts and Aladdin, and then Cruella de Vil from the Dalmatians, which the Dalmatians are in the first.
Oh boy.
Each is also like a 6-color system, akin to Battle Spirits, which I'm really excited about. Each of the starter decks, I believe, is red, green, blue, white, and purple, yellow, which looks insanely cool. I can't wait to see what these color combinations do.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be, dude. I just want to play everything. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look more into this, because I haven't given it too much of a thought. But yeah, just looking at the cards now in a bit more depth, I'm like, okay, I'm getting interested.
Yeah. I just might buy some sealed product and sit on it.
I would probably buy like maybe a couple starter decks, have me and the wife sit down, play it out, and see how it does play before getting really invested. But
Yeah.
I could easily see me picking up like a couple starters. On another note, I still have my PR kit from Card Garden sitting around. When's do we have a tentative date for streaming that yet?
I think we are waiting on 3 more people.
Okay.
I might just help Eden out and give a general ping today at some point.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious if maybe the other 3 that are missing we're just kind of open willy-nilly.
Yeah, I'm sitting on it, and I hate seeing sealed packs on my desk.
Yep. Same. like every time I've been playing a card game, it's just right there, like sitting on that table, and I'm just like, I just want to open it so bad.
Yeah.
But all right, so we still plan on doing that in the future. We're still kind of sitting on a tentative date, waiting on a couple people to kind of confirm that they got it. But might be happening soon. By the time this podcast is uploaded, we might have at least either a tentative date for it or might have actually done it. And I know in the future we do plan on having an interview with a WeCross tourney winner. Don't know which one yet. Could be you. Could be me. I doubt it'll be me.
Not me. I'm a very bad player.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a blatant lie. So for people who don't know yet, Psycho is actually a topping champion, like ceremony winner.
Well, fourth place, and then I want to take a chance.
Yeah. Okay. That's nothing to scoff at.
They're just card games.
Yeah, I mean, I technically topped the ceremony too.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just not good.
oh.
I topped a local once.
That's better than the ceremony because I literally played Hero on a Smash and watched people. What do you mean you have 4 damage on turn 3?
Yep. At least we're part of the Congrats Xeno Club.
Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not.
Haha.
You gotta get in there. So you gotta get in there. This
Yeah.
ceremony that comes up, hopefully, join the Xeno Club.
Hey,
great.
congrats! I have a couple copies of Xenocluster.
Yeah.
I actually
That
don't have a
counts.
normal copy of Xenocluster.
Yeah, just a normal copy of it. Yeah, I'll just write like on permanent marker. Congratulations on it.
Yeah.
I'm really sad that TCG player accidentally canceled my order for my Xenocluster. I don't want to spend $20 on it now. I have a congrats one. I'm rich. I hate this so much.
Yeah, so
I'd like a custom one with the orb meme floating around in here.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure that out at some point.
I mean, hopefully we could use that as a proxy.
Definitely in this local, yes, you definitely use the Smorg Xenocluster.
Yeah. So.
All right, yeah. So we'll do an interview at some point in the future with somebody. I might try and designate Psycho for that, just because he hates talking to people.
Yes.
Good.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Nah, it'll be one of us, depending on maybe. We'll see how it goes. We'll plan that out. We'll kind of burn that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
But thank you guys again for listening to this week's Weekly Harvest. Feel free to stop by the Card Garden and pick up some products. I know we got some new Dragon Shield sleeves in. So those are always popping off. I personally use Dragon Shield. They're great. We got, the new Shadowverse stuff coming up for in the future. Eden has selling. Got Battle Spirits. Wow. I need to stop watching old sci-fi shows. Battle Spirit Saga coming out. We still have some WeCross. Got some pre-orders for One Piece. Got events going on. It's just popping off here.
Oh yeah. So you got any closing remarks, ArcoVert?
I might have to sell a kidney or two by the end of this year.
Yeah, I think most.
I like how you said 2, as if you have more than 2.
No comment.
Yeah, we can't question our Italian brethren.
Wait, no, he never said it had to be his kidney. Okay.
No comment.
All right. Well, so yeah, hopefully all of us have at least one kidney by the end of the year. But thank you everybody for listening. Feel free to join us on Discord. Hang out with us. Tell us we're okay at best. And try and stop us in our weekly events and stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by to listen to us, our antics. I would love to have Arco come back in the show at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This has been
and yeah, thank you again for stopping in, telling us about One Piece, having fun with us.
I am definitely a fan of every card game on this planet, so I will go over any game.
All right, sounds good.
All right, but Have a good night, guys.
Thank you guys. See you again next episode.